All right, guys, time for me to talk to myself for 20 minutes again. But I promise this will go quick. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to review what we did last week. Now, um, when we have class, so what I want to say first is that there are um, disadvantages to having class online, but then there are advantages, okay? And the advantages are, it seems to me that, I can keep everything in the computer. I know what I did last week, and I can just easily pull that up from my computer versus, let's say, if we were in a real class and then you guys are like, oh, I don't have this paper, I forgot my book, or I lost the paper, and then I have to go downstairs and copy it again, or and it's just a big issue, right? Big problem. But with the computer, you don't need anything. Okay, you guys don't need to bring anything. All you got to do is have your cell phone or be in front of your computer, be in front of the screen, whatever it is. Okay, so it allows me to give you better review, which I think may or may not be. No, I'm sure it will be of benefit to you. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so we're going to review what we did last week, mostly the vocabulary. Okay, and then we'll go on to do what we want to do today. Okay, all right, so the first thing we want to talk about is, let's review. Okay, what does that say? Okay, that Japanese girl, what's her name? Fu Yuan Ai, whatever. Okay. Fu Yuan, yeah, the Japanese ping pong player. Okay. So Fu Cha Cha cheated on her husband. Okay. Right. And then XYZ used bad oil in their food products. And then Trump lied to reporters. Now, these are three separate things. They're not the same thing. So, what do these three things remind you of, right? The Japanese ping pong player cheated on her husband. XYZ used bad oil in their food products. And then Trump lied to reporters. Which one does that remind you? Okay. Which word does that remind you of? Think about that, right? Yes. What happened to Fu Yuan I think, right? When she cheated on her husband. She lost all her commercial contracts. The news said, like started to not like her. Everybody started to not like her, right? What happened to the company? Let's say, Xiaoweixian, right? They used bad oil in their food products. And then what happened to it? Okay, what did people think about it? And then what did people think about Trump when he lied to reporters? Okay, that's enough of that. So think about that. Which word does that remind you of? Is it discredit, aviation, reprimand, disparage, statement, issue, goof around, slack off, flaunt, or reputation? All right, let's look at the second example. The lawyer claims the police officer is racist. Okay, lawyer is 律师. So the lawyer claims the police officer is racist. Okay, well, what does that remind you of? Which word does that remind you of? Okay, all right. Okay, the next one. Mary tells everyone that she bought a BMW and how expensive it was. Oh, look, everybody, look at my new car. I'm so rich. I'm so cool. Look at this new car, Look how pretty it is. Okay, so what is that? Okay, when Mary does that, what is she doing? which word can you use to describe that situation? Okay. Let's continue. I am going to divorce my husband. The celebrity, Big S, told reporters. I don't know if it's true, but let's assume it's true, right? So I heard on the news, I don't care, but my wife tells me anyway, that 大 S, 小 S is little big sister, whatever. Okay. And then, somebody came out, or even she came out, or the husband came out and said, yep, we are getting divorced. Okay. When you say something, when you announce something, what are you making? Okay. These words here, which word does that remind you of? Okay. Okay, continue. Mimi often calls Ray fat and laughs at him. Okay, so Mimi is a bad sister, and she always calls Ray bad, laughs at him, calls him names, embarrasses him. Okay, so what is that? Which word can we use to describe that situation? Okay, all right, good. Well, maybe I should. Okay, well, let's not do that now. Okay, F. The police officer gave John a ticket for speeding. Okay, he gave John a ticket. He gave him a ticket. Okay, what does that? Which word does this example remind you of? Right. Okay. G. Airplanes, airports, pilots, flight attendants, Airbus, Boeing. Okay, all these things. What do these things remind you of? Okay, what word can we use to describe all these things? Airplanes, airports, pilots, flight attendants, Airbus, Boeing, okay, ground crew, so on and so forth. Okay. H. John plays with his friends during class. Which word does that remind you of? John plays with his friends during class. Okay, which word does that remind you of? All right. Instead of working, the food panda delivery person parks his motorcycle under a tree and takes a nap. Okay, so here's a food panda. He's not delivering food. He parks his motorcycle under a tree and then he starts to take a nap. Okay, which word does that remind you of? Okay, which word does that remind you of? Okay, think about all these words that we talked about last week. And if you have no clue, then you need to eat some fish oil. Fish oil is very good for you. You should eat it, and then it will improve your memory. I don't know if that's true. It's just my opinion. Okay, and J, the science teacher yells at his students for almost burning down the classroom. Does that sound familiar to anyone? The science teacher yells at his students for almost burning down the science classroom. That is an example of what? Okay, of which word in on this list? Okay, good. Let's so that's the review. I'm going to ask you that later, and then we'll go on to doing the new stuff. Okay, all right. I'm going to ask you sort of pre-reading questions to get a sort of a baseline of how many words you know, or if you can guess the right word, so on and so forth. All right. So we have here the vocabulary list for today. We have lack, capability. This is a photo, so I can't really cut it up. I'll do it later. Okay. Capability, invade, downplay, emphasize. These two are opposites. Okay, they are opposites. Intent, motivation, immediate, and assessment. Okay. So Let's see if you can guess some of these words, okay? And then we'll go on to reading the article, and then maybe you can do this later, okay? All right, so vaccines do not have something effect. It takes a few days for them to work. So if you take a vaccine, it doesn't work right away. So vaccines do not have a what kind of effect, okay? I'll ask you that later. Okay, the next question. The difference between murder and manslaughter is what? Okay, so murder is 谋杀, but manslaughter is 过失致死. Good, got it. Good. Okay, so what is the difference between murder and manslaughter? The difference between murder and manslaughter is what? Okay, we'll talk about that later. Okay. He takes the bus because he blank money to buy a car, right? So he takes the bus because he doesn't have money to buy a car. Which word means that? Number 4. We don't have the blank to send people to Mars yet. We have the blank to send robots to Mars. Mars, by the way, is 火星, huh? 火星? No. 火星. Thank you. So we don't have the what to send people to Mars yet. We have sent robots to Mars, but we have not sent people to Mars because we don't have the blank to send people to Mars yet. We don't have the what. Okay, look at this vocabulary list. Okay, good. According to expert what, Taiwan should be out of lockdown in a few weeks. Okay, now I heard this on the news. Don't quote me on it. Some experts say that perhaps in July or middle of July, we should be out of this lockdown, right? Yes. All right. So some, according to expert what? According to means 根据, 根据 expert what, right? Okay. We should be out of this lockdown in a couple of weeks. Okay. Next one. Japan blanked China in July on July 7th, 1937. All of you should know this because you are students. I had to Google it because I'm not a student, but you should know this because you have history class, and this is Chinese history. So what did Japan do to China on July 7th, 1937? Okay, Japan what? China on July 7th, 1937. Number 7, people often blank the importance of heredity and blank the importance of nurture. Here, heredity is 遗传. And then nurture is 培养, 栽培, let's say. 栽培. Okay. I don't know if these Chinese words are correct. I'm assuming they are, okay? All right. So you know how people, and I'll talk to you guys about this in class. Okay, it's quite interesting. And maybe you guys, it has a little bit to do with neuroscience and correcting some ideas that we have about people and you know, the idea of this, right? 人之初性本. Okay, so this, right? And so this sort of answers the questions a little bit. We'll talk about this in class. So people often blank the importance of heredity and blank the importance of nurture. Okay, and one of these words go in the red parentheses, and between the red parentheses, and one of these words go between the blue parentheses. All right, and number 8, money is the primary reason of getting an education. Of course, there are other reasons for getting an education, but making money is the primary goal. Okay, so which word means goal? Okay, goal. Which word means drive, reason? Okay, all right. Primary means 主要的. Okay, all right. Good job. Let me read this one time, and then perhaps, yeah. Okay. So this is the headline. Okay, this is the headline. Make it bigger. Right. Again, believe it or don't believe it. I don't know, because people have different opinions on this, so we'll see. Okay. All right. PRC lacks capability to invade Taiwan, top US general says. So PRC is People's Liberation Army. 人民解放军, right? 解放是 liberation, okay? So PRC stands for People's Liberation Army. Lacks means doesn't have. So if you lack something, you don't have it, okay? So PRC lacks capability, okay? I can cut this up now. Capability. So PRC lacks capability. What is capability? Capability just means ability, okay? But it just means ability, you know, and in fact, it has the word ability in there, right? Here's ability, right? So capability is just ability, but it is a special kind of ability. It is a technical ability, okay, right? Absolute ability, all right? Something that you can say either you have it or you don't, okay? So capability, okay, good. So from the beginning again, PRC lacks capability to invade Taiwan, top US general says. Invade, okay? Invade means attack, all right? So PRC lacks capability to invade Taiwan. Okay, good. Low probability. China still has a ways to go to develop the actual, no kidding capability to seize Taiwan militarily. US General Mark Miley said, okay? This basically just says the same thing as the headline. Okay, let's see. The US top general on Thursday downplayed concern that China would attempt a military takeover of Taiwan in the near future, saying Beijing does not have the capability to do so. So he downplayed the worry, right? So everybody's worried about it. You know that I'm worried about it. I'm always talking about how the Chinese PRC aircraft are flying very close to Taiwan. So, but here's this guy. He's an expert. He's the top general in the US. He downplayed. He made light of. He said it's nothing, okay? He downplayed. Oh, hi, dog. Hi, doggy. He downplayed the worry that China would attempt a military takeover of Taiwan. Why? Because he says that they just can't do it. They don't have the capability, okay? Does that make you feel better? No. All right. So he downplayed. He made light of. He made it less serious. Okay. Okay. While there has been rising concern in Taiwan and among U.S. lawmakers about Chinese military activity near Taiwan, such as flying jets in Taiwan's Air Defense Identification Zone, also known as ADIZ, U.S. military officials said that such moves are not overly concerning. So, there has been rising concern in Taiwan amongst U.S. lawmakers and Teacher Daniel about Chinese military activity. U.S. military officials said that such activities, aggression, such threats are really not that serious. Okay? In other words, it's saying again that is downplayed the seriousness of this incursion. Okay. U.S. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley, told lawmakers that while Taiwan was still a core national interest of China, there is little intent right now or motivation to do it militarily. So he's saying that while we are still a core interest for China. Core means, very in the center, 核心, I have to do Chinese here. 核心的. No, can't be that one. 核心的. Oh, whatever. Okay, you can tell me if this is wrong later. Okay. We are still a core national interest of China. According to Mark Milley, China has little intent. It has very little planning right now, and it has very little motivation, very little reason to do it, to take us over, to invade us militarily. Okay, so that's according to this guy who is supposedly an expert. Okay. All right, and here's a picture. He looks a little bit like Darth Vader without his mask. U.S. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley, testifies on the Defense Department's budget request during a Senate Committee on Appropriations meeting on Capitol Hill in Washington on Thursday. Appropriations means 给钱, okay? So, each year, the different departments, in this case, the Department of Defense, the 国防部, right, goes to the 立法院, right, goes to the Senate and asks for money. Give us billions and billions of dollars, right, because we need it. So, an appropriations meeting is a meeting in which they decide how much money to give whom. Okay, so I don't know how you say it, but I'm just gonna say 给钱. Okay, right, a 给钱 meeting. Okay, an appropriations meeting. Okay, all right. There's no reason to do it militarily, and they know that. So I think the probability is probably low. What a strange sentence. I think the probability is probably low. In the immediate, near-term, short-term future, Milley told a meeting of the U.S. Senate Committee on Appropriations. Okay, so he's saying that the probability is probably low and there is no immediate there is no right away threat in the future, okay, right? In the near future, in the short-term future, okay? Last paragraph, my assessment, my professional opinion, he said, in terms of capability, I think China has always, I think China has a ways to go to develop the actual no-kidding capability to conduct military operations to seize, through military means, the entire island of Taiwan if they wanted to do that, he added. Okay, so in other words, he's saying that they are not able to take over the entire island of Taiwan, even if they wanted to right now. Okay, 10 years from now, we don't know. But right now, they don't have the capability. That is his professional opinion. That is his assessment. Okay, that is assessment. Notice it says entire island of Taiwan. Probably means that if they wanted to take over Jinmen, they could, but probably not Taiwan proper, okay, because it's just too far away. All right, I'll see you guys in class. We'll talk more about this. I'm going to ask you these red, in case you don't know already, I'm going to ask you these red words, maybe see if you know how to answer them, okay? All right, thanks for watching. I hope you watched this all the way through. I had wanted to give you this video yesterday, but I was too late. So I'm giving it to you today. So please watch it. You can watch it in 2 segments if you want to. All right, see you guys soon.